Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Okay, next comment or question comes from Scott Affleck. And this came through the website. It wasn't something that actually came via a comment against the video. And Scott writes, "Hi, I was actually lucky to find your channel, and I have a quick question for you. For recording digital audio, I understand that 1 bit represents 6 dB. So if you're recording a 16-bit audio and the audio is 6 dBs or more below the PEC level, 1 bit of audio will be lost. Only 15 bits of audio will be used to represent the sound. So a recording should be as hot as it can without clipping. I read somewhere about this in a keyboard magazine, but I can't find the article. I was going to mention this in a video, but I thought I'd better ask someone knowledgeable." And he asked me. My channel is Off the Matrix. Take care, Scott. Now, this is very interesting, and some of what you've said is kind of true to a degree. The lower the bit rate, the less signal to noise ratio you have. However, 16-bit audio samples relates to the number of values that can be written to a stored sample. In the case of a 16-bit sample, this equates to 65,536, which is normally split plus or minus 32,768 to plus 32,767, as in gives you the sine wave, the plus or minus. Now, if we go backwards in the sampler hierarchy and we go from a 16-bit back to a 12-bit, we have 256. So for 12-bit, so a 12-bit would be 4,096 data points that can be written, or values that can be written. For 250, and going back a little bit further, if you go back to 8-bit, it drops down to 256 data points or values that can be written. So, and going forward the other way, if we go to 32-bit, that equates to 4.294 million points, split roughly 2.1 million plus and 2.1 million minus. And if you then go to 64-bit, that equates to 18.4 trillion points. I think I've got that right. So, yes, dropping 1 dB. So it's not about dropping dB. It's about how much data you can write against the sampling level. As in, you can be more, the higher the greater the bit rate you record at, the greater the more granular the data can be, and therefore the clearer the sample can be. That's kind of the thing. And on conversion, you really need to quantize less to miss the gaps, if you like, or work within the gaps. What you can't arbitrarily do is just remove 1 bit. That's not how this works, and that's why I said it's kind of, what you say is kind of right to a degree. You have to adjust the signal as it's recording to ensure that it is within the dynamic range, yes. Once you distort the signal, there's a lot of work to bring the dynamic frequencies back into range. So it's better to record the signal lower and boost than it is to record it higher and try to clean it up. Now, I have to be honest and say I understand the basics of sampling, but I have never said that I'm a sampling guru. And you know, when you get into sort of like some of the high-end samplers and what some people can do with them, it's pretty amazing. But at the end of the day, the quality of the sample coming in is really the key here. It's not about boosting and gaining. It's making sure that you have a very good, clear sample you're bringing into the system. And if you can do that, then manipulating the sample becomes so much easier. Next comment or question comes from System Fan 8. And I don't have what it's in response to, so I suspect this might actually be off the website. And it's System 8 Fan says, many thanks for this enormous rebuild. Really helps. By the way, do you need to strip off the other side of the sticky glue or just leave that protection layer on? Okay, so I remember what this was for. This was in response to my restore just before Christmas of Gary's JX3P and stripping down the key bed, which I had to do twice for various reasons. And I also had to do it twice on the Roland S50 as well. But I think this was the JX3P. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The answer is the same whichever one of those you watch, whether it be the JX3P stripped down or whether it be the S50 stripped down. The answer is do not put glue on top of glue. So when you removed the double-sided sticky tape, which I used in that particular instance, you must remember to remove the glue, otherwise it won't stick properly to the surface because there's nothing for it to key onto. Glue does not give a good surface for it to key onto. Now, people will probably turn around and say, well, it doesn't really need that. You know, nobody's going to be fiddling with it. But if you're going to do the job properly. So yeah, and the best stuff I use, and if I remember correctly, I'll put a link to it. I use something called LRM, which is available on Amazon. And as I say, if I remember to do it, I'll put a link below this video to the product. But the LRM product is brilliant. It smells. It's horrible stuff. So make sure you do it in a ventilated area, but effectively what you do is where you've got something like a label or double-sided sticky tape or residue glue like this, effectively just spray this LRM on, leave it 10 minutes or so. You have to give it a good dusting. So make sure you don't do it on a surface that's important. Make sure you do it on a surface you don't give a rat's about, because you know it is pretty potent stuff. But when you come back in 10 minutes, you should theoretically either be able to lift the whole strip off or very gently with a scraper, what am I thinking of? A scraper that you would remove wallpaper for, a putty knife, something like that. You can just get underneath it and you can just take it away. As I say, it is horrible stuff. So please do not do this in an enclosed area, and do not do it on your wife's best table, because she will not thank you for taking the polish off the table by using this stuff. And on that note, I'll say that was it. Oh, getting tongue-tied.